Small but mighty, the Barreto 13SG-16SG stump grinder is a true workhorse. The innovative design and compact stature of this stump grinder makes it ideal for tight access areas. But don't let its size fool you. With 8 carbide green teeth, it's tough enough to take on any job you throw at it. This stump grinder's unique design allows the grinding head to sweep easily across the stump with a swing arc of 35 degrees, while the wheelbase remains stationary. Its freewheeling hubs also facilitate easy travel to the job site, while the independent wheel locks allow for easy locking while grinding. This machine includes both the Honda and the Briggs Stratton engine option. General safety instructions. To use the stump grinder, you must be over 18 years old and familiar with the operating controls as taught to you by someone with experience. You must also study the safety messages and instructions in the operator's manual. Pay attention to the safety decals fixed to the body of the grinder near specific hazard points. The stump grinder must always be operated in full compliance with all state, local, and national regulations, including OSHA regulations. Always wear proper PPE while moving or operating the grinder. This includes eye protection such as a full face shield, hard hat, ear protection, boots, and gloves. If you're working near traffic, wear reflective clothes. Never wear loose-fitting clothing, jewelry, or anything which could get caught, and keep head and facial hair pulled back while operating the machine. While moving or operating the stump grinder, stay clear of any moving parts, particularly the articulation area. The cutter wheel and other moving parts can amputate arms, legs, fingers, and cause serious injury or even death. Unless necessary, don't touch the cutter wheel even when the machine is not in use. Never leave the operating controls while the cutter wheel is in motion. Also, the cutter wheel may throw chips, rocks, and debris, so keep all observers or co-workers at a safe distance and use traffic flag personnel, signs, cones, and lighting devices to warn off traffic and pedestrians. Stop the machinery immediately if anyone comes too close. Never allow anyone to ride on the machine or lift the machine over any person at any time. If the machine should fall, it would crush anybody under it. Always operate the machine outdoors and avoid breathing engine exhaust and fumes. Never operate machine during storms or where lightning is present or nearby. Only operate where there is enough light, either natural or artificial, and allow for plenty of side and overhead clearance between the machine and buildings, fences, trees, and other obstacles. If grinding can't be performed with adequate clearance, use a barrier or guard to prevent flying debris. We recommend having a fire extinguisher suitable for petrol fires on hand whenever the machine is used. Never change engine factory settings to overspeed the engine, and never leave the machine running and unattended even when it's parked. Always call 811 before you grind. If you don't, striking buried electric cables or gas lines may cause an accident, interruption of services, damage to the environment, or even hurt someone. Cut fiber optic lines conduct strong laser light, which can injure your eyes. Always call before you grind, or you'll be held liable for any damage caused. If you do accidentally hit a buried utility line, immediately stop grinding and call 911. Loading and transporting the machine. When transporting the stump grinder using a trailer, make sure the machine is properly secured to the trailer and the wheels are locked. Then shut off the engine, remove the key, and close the fuel shutoff valve. If you're transporting the stump grinder in a truck bed or loading with a ramp or hoist, make sure suitable equipment is available to lift and lower the machine onto the truck. If you're using a sling, the minimum working load limit per sling leg is 1,000 pounds, 450 kilograms, and the minimum sling length is 6 feet, 2 meters. If loading with a pulley, position the truck and stump grinder on level ground. Follow the stump grinder shutdown procedure. Attach the lifting sling or hook to the eye of the lift tube above the engine. Chain or strap the stump grinder to the truck. To do this, use the 2 chain loops at the rear of the lower body and D-ring on the front. Remember, never lift the stump grinder over any person at any time. Unloading. Once you arrive on site, always park the vehicle on level ground to unload the machine. Operating or unloading the grinder on uneven ground increases the danger of losing traction or rolling over. Machine controls. Before operating, be sure you completely understand the machine controls. The fuel shutoff valve is located on the engine and must be in the open position for the engine to run. Use the choke while starting the engine if it has not reached operating temperature. The throttle is located on the front right side of the control panel and controls the engine speed. Pushing the throttle forward increases speed. When grinding, always be sure to push the throttle forward all the way. The cutter wheel is operated by the handlebar-mounted safety bale switch. The handle bale acts as a secondary safety switch to prevent accidents. The handlebars are also used to manually control the cutter head and depth of cut. Starting and operating the machine. Always do an assessment when you arrive on site. Look around for any conditions or obstructions that could block cutting or make operating the machine unsafe for anyone. Pay particular attention to electrical drop boxes, underground placement notices, manholes, signs of recent cutting, overhangs, drop-offs, rocks, tree limbs, wire, uneven terrain, any existing trenches or holes, or any toxic ground conditions. After doing an assessment, clear the area of debris, branches, and rocks to the best of your ability. If there's a source of sparks, flames, or flammable dust or vapors nearby, do not operate. Before starting the stump grinder, always inspect the machine to make sure nothing is worn or damaged. Replace parts as needed. Check and maintain the engine oil before you start it up. Ensure that all safety guards and shields are in place. Never use the machine without them. Also, make sure equipment drive controls, if equipped, are disengaged before you start. Both Honda and Briggs Stratton options are equipped with manual pull starts. Hold down the engine bale switch, set the throttle to idle, pull the cord, and start it up. If the bale switch is released, the engine will shut down. If you're starting in the cold or having problems starting, see the operator's manual for specific directions. Do not spray starting fluid into the air cleaner as it could damage the engine. Move the grinder into position. Lock the wheels in place by pulling the wheel lock levers towards you. Unlock the wheel frame by pulling up on the lock pin and rotating it to place the roll pin in the catch. Start the engine. After it's warmed up, push the throttle all the way forward to engage the centrifugal clutch and grinder wheel. This machine is manually pivoted back and forth to control the cutting and grinding. As the stump is ground, the height of the operator control handlebar must be adjusted. It's more efficient to cut the edge of the stump rather than cutting a wide area. Once the teeth are cutting at a depth below half the wheel radius, lift the cutter and move the machine forward to begin a new edge. Listen to the engine speed and watch the cutter wheel speed. Adjust the swing speed and cut depth as necessary to maintain a high speed for both. Always avoid bogging the engine and stalling the cutter wheel. Stay on level ground as much as possible. A 20-degree maximum incline is allowed. However, driving at any incline increases the possibility of losing traction or rolling over, especially if the ground is wet. When driving on an incline, turn gradually. If you lose control at any time, immediately get out of the way. Use extra caution on soft or uneven ground. Avoid driving or operating next to drop-offs or embankments, and always use extreme caution when reversing the machine towards you. After the job is done. After grinding is complete, park on level ground and reduce the throttle to idle until the cutter wheel stops spinning. Switch off the engine switch to stop the engine and lock the wheel housing frame before moving the machine. The wheel housing frame must be locked before moving the machine on any surface, including inclines. Close the fuel shutoff valve. Failure to close the shutoff valve could cause serious damage to your engine not covered by your warranty. Engage the wheel locks. Always make sure the engine is off and completely cool before you touch the muffler or clean or maintain any part of it. Once cool, spray down the machine body and the cutting head. Once you're done cleaning, turn it back on and operate the controls to remove the water from any moving parts. Refueling, maintenance, and storage. Only trained and qualified personnel should perform maintenance or repairs on the stump grinder. Before performing any service, maintenance, adjustments, repairs, or long-term storage, follow the shutdown procedure in the operator's manual. To refuel the machine, shut off the engine and let it cool, or add fuel before starting the engine. Never remove the cap on the fuel tank or add fuel while the engine is running or when the engine is hot. Always replace all fuel tank and container caps securely. If fuel is spilled, never attempt to start the engine. Move the machine away from the spillage through other means before you start. Never refuel indoors or near a source of flames or sparks. Always do the necessary lubrication and maintenance required once you get back to the shop, or if necessary, in the field. Always make sure the engine is turned off before performing maintenance, cleaning, or transport by means other than under its own power. Consult the manuals for specific maintenance considerations, lubrication requirements, and safety precautions for performing maintenance. When storing the machine, allow the engine to cool before storing in an enclosure, and never store with petrol in the tank inside a building where fumes can reach an open flame or spark. Also, never store the machine anywhere with any kind of vegetation material or excessive grease. Always store fuel in containers specifically designed for doing so. For more information, visit www.barretomfg.com or consult your owner's manual.